All right, good morning, fair use. I hope everyone's doing well. I'd like to start off, I'd like to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Rahakwakadash, and double honors to the elders of GMS that rule well. Salutations to the elders, to the apostles, and to the brothers that's laboring in the truth and doing great work diligently night and day and night. And shout out to you sincere sisters who's loving Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, loving yourself, respecting yourself, loving your husband, respecting your husband, loving your children, and doing the right things out of the Lord. And into the hopeful elect. I hope everything is well. And I have a good topic right here for y'all. I want y'all to hear this lady speak on this real quick. And you guys can write your comments in the comment board. All right, so let's get to this, okay? I want you guys to hear this very carefully. Okay, so she's starting off about she's talking about spiritual discernment. She's saying that men can pick up these things, especially those that's spiritual, because we understand once upon a time about the carnal flesh. And, we still in the flesh, but we're thinking of a spiritual mind. And this world is full of carnality. So because they're not really thinking about the spirit, they're not really thinking about what's righteous. They only care about the wicked things of the earth. Not saying that's they that's on their minds, but subconsciously and by default and fault, it's on their mind. So I mean this goes the same thing with women too. Women can sense when men is evil, men are doing wickedness, especially if she's on her righteous path and she coming to the truth and the knowledge and understand that, okay, I don't need this type of behavior in my life. So there's women out here that have some spiritual discernment, and but men tend to go a little further because men have to deal with things on a higher scale. You know what I'm saying? But we all deal with things, men and women. But anyway, let's continue this.
Now, if you give off any sense that you are promiscuous, yes, and they are lustful, they're gonna go for the kill. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's just a face. Now, how I learned this about men was being raised around boys, monitoring them, listening to what they say, watching how they acted. And one thing I noticed about men, they're hunters. Look at a man. When a woman walks in the room, the first thing his eyes is gonna do is undress her from top to bottom. I don't care what man it is. And something that I learned from a family member of mine that was a guy, I don't care how good of a man you.
All right, she's absolutely correct. Men do that. Men, we do eye scope and we watch and we look. Cause we men. But it takes a real man of spiritual discipline and just discipline, man, and to not engage or to get with any kind of woman, man, because you have to protect yourself, man. Not everything that you see that look good is good, So, and we have these preconceived notions of thinking that people that look good are clean, And I'm not saying be clean, be clean, but it's the narrative is this, The narrative is, oh, she look good, so I don't mind having sex with her. Or if it's a female, he look good, I don't mind having sex with him because he has a 6-pack, he's 6'4", he got everything clean, but you don't know if he's sick. Look at that movie Temptation by Tyler Perry. The young lady was married to a good Christian dude. They grew up together, and they married, and he was loyal and he was kind, and he cared about her. But once she started to get the taste of temptation, it just evolved and it just grew into something devastating. And the dude that she met, he was a billionaire. He had a lot of money. Parties was fun. Everything was good. G5 planes and Rolls Royces and Hummers and Mercedes Benz, all kind of things he had. He had all the perks successfully, but he was sick. Okay, and she finally realized, she realized at the end that this dude was affected by he had HIV. You know, because I said Cal, I'm gonna call him Cal because of the show. I forget the name of the show he plays on, right? And he was talking to Brandy in the movie, and she was telling him that she know him. He gave her HIV, you know. So now he's saying that your wife is dealing with him, so she's bound to have it, and they having unprotected sex. So, but since God's grace, he didn't have it because the Lord protected him. So I guess she probably stopped having sex with her husband, because sometimes women typically stop having sex with the other man, and she'll just give sex to one man. Because some women don't want two poundings simultaneously. Some women don't want to have sex with you, and then him, and back and forth. So she want to give her body a break and give her all to the one that she likes the most and who's giving her good pounding. You know what I mean? Hold on, guys. All right.
You can be one of the most beautiful women in the world. When a man sees another woman, for a split second, another woman, she looks good, she smells good, she has a nice body, she just does it for him. She just catches his eye. For a split second, he forgets about the woman that he's with. Now, depending on what type of man he is, this is the 1 percentile. They're not going to act on it. They going to see and don't see and keep it going. Realize, oh, I got some good out. Now, 75% of men are going to think to themselves, damn, I wonder if I can get her. And you got 50% of those that's going to try to get her. You got 20% that's going to actually call her and see. Some of them just want to see if they can get her. It ain't even about them a call. They're just going to see if it's all a game with them. So again, I say you got to be mindful. You got to be very strategic with men, because they don't think like women. We think with our hearts. They think logically with their minds. So I'm just saying this for women who are into dating men. Again.
Okay, yeah. So she gave another Jew. She said that men typically can have a woman, and once he see a woman that looks so good, she's new and she eye candy, for a split second he gonna look at her, and it's true. It's very true. She's not lying. So women do it all the time, you know. And if a man is secure and she's saying it, you know, you got to address the elephant in the room, you know, and tell us, yo, baby, don't talk about another man in front of me, you know. Don't talk about another man in front of me, because if you're doing that, I'm obligated to talk about a woman in front of you, and you definitely ain't gonna like it. So don't keep your things to yourself, or discuss something that you've seen with your homegirl. When y'all have your conversation, out of respect, don't ever talk about another man looking cute in front of me. Disrespectful, you know what I'm saying? So one day I had to tell my wife that one day, right? But I'm gonna tell you two sides of that story. But you know what? Let's finish this. Okay, so it finished. All right, so the two sides of the story is that one day my wife came to pick me up in her car, right? I didn't have my car at this time. So I had we had our two young children in the car, but you know, they're teenagers now, right? And sometimes, you know, women do silly shit, you know. They do silly shit, you know, because their emotions get the best of them, right? Watch this. She gets a call. Her mother had just been robbed, right? Her mother had been robbed in the street. She called her. We ran. she ran as fast as she can in the car to go to her mother. Happened in Brownsville, right? Happened almost 10 years ago, right? So we get there. Make a long story short, I'm gonna make y'all laugh, right? The police get there, you know. She told the police somewhere around the corner because that's where the incident at. That's where her mother was at. So I stayed in the car with the kids. She comes back, whatever. She proceeds to tell me she didn't know that my cousin is a police officer. She didn't know my cousin was a police officer. My cousin older than me. You know, he's a sergeant for NYPD, right? Okay. She tends to come back. Mind you, her mother just got robbed. Your focus should be on your mom, right? She proceeds to say, "Oh, somebody had the same last name as you. I'm sorry to say, oh my, he's so cute. This and that." So when a woman tell you that about another man's cute, she had opportunity, she'll give him some pussy. Right? Okay. Not a problem, right? I'm not saying my wife, that's not saying I'm saying, okay, go ahead and do it. I'm saying not a problem. Let them express what they feel. Because they're telling you what they feel, right? So I tend not to bring that up when I know that's my cousin, but I didn't say nothing. I just let her talk. And hold on, guys. Yeah, so I'm sorry about that, y'all. Let me make this quick. So she came and she telling me that, but she not knowing this is my cousin. So I'm not saying none of it. I'm not mad at that. I just listen to what people say. So in my mind, I already told myself, okay, this is how you operating. All right, cool, no problem. But then I told her, I said, yo, listen, let me tell you something. You can feel how you feel, but keep that shit to yourself. I said, because any other time, if I say something about a bitch or I liking her, you know, I don't do it in your face. But when now, you know, in my mind, it's okay, now I'm going to start doing shit. I don't care if you don't like it. So you got to keep these things in mind. But people do things and, they don't think they meaning harm, but it's meaning harm because you don't want to hear that. Because you're not doing it, so why are you doing it to me? You know what I'm saying? So I'm not taking it to the heart. So I let it go because it was a situation where I'm like, you worry about that and your mom just got robbed? Where the fuck is your mindset at? Fuck my cousin and what you feeling about him, how he looking. Worried about your mom, that's what's more important than how she doing, and she just got robbed. She could have lost her fucking life. You know what I'm saying? Hold on, y'all. So these are the things that was going on, man. We have to have discernment, have spiritual discernment, and understand what is going on. So, and I told her, I said, yo, listen, you doing shit that's not making no fucking sense. But so, and then many years later, she working in a different hospital, and she was telling me that when I came up there to travel with my kids, whatever, she said 2 or 3 of her coworkers was like, who's that man? That man's handsome, whatever. And she listening, and the girl kept proceeding to tell her, and so she was like letting her talk, and she said, oh, that's my husband. So, you know what I'm saying? Boom. So now my wife come back and tell me, now she knows that other women liking me. So, women like that. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, women's going to always like somebody. They see somebody they gonna like, that's natural. They gonna do that. But if you act on it, cool. You gonna get judged by the Most High, man. And you can't stop a woman for being something that she want to do. It's either is in her or is not, to be loyal to you. So hope this video is edifying. Let me give you one scripture. Let's get this. Let's go to 1 Timothy chapter 5, right? Verse 2. said the elder woman as mothers, the younger sisters with all purity. So you women supposed to have purity, and you're supposed to teach young women how to be upright. You know, you got to have spiritual discernment. You know what I'm saying? If you don't, these things going to happen. This pertains to the ladies and fellas. You know, so it's best to always control your lust, man. Have discipline. You know, everything you don't need to go chase and fuck. Everybody don't deserve to have you, ladies. Everybody don't deserve to have you, man. You know, respect yourself. You don't love yourself. You know what I'm saying. Verse 3 is honor widows that are widows indeed. Verse 4, but if any widows have children or nephews, let them learn first to show piety at home and to requite their parents, for that is good and acceptable before God. So there you go. All right. So, you know, everything is done decency and order, and it has to be done in righteousness. You know what I mean? So I know sometimes we get tempted and it's full of lust and stuff, but you know, try your best to do that. If you feel like it's too overwhelming, pray to the Lord. Say, Lord, please calm my mind, calm my spirit. I want to have more control over my flesh. Please, Lord, I don't want to do these things, but please, if you got any addiction or anything you're dealing with, pornography or sexual deviancies, or just any kind of addiction where it's dealing with sex, try to refrain from it. Pray to the Lord, ask the Lord to guide you, and give your burdens unto the Lord, and read your Bible, man, to clear your mind, so that you won't be tempted by evil, man, because the Most High don't tempt you. He tests our faith. The wicked one, Satan, he tempts us with temptation. So you have to be very, very wise and be circumspect of what's going on. So I hope this bit is edifying. And young ladies, man, protect yourself, man. Fellas, protect yourself. And the scripture tells us, man, when you lusting after the beauty of a woman, especially if she's living a wicked life, these things will happen to you. You'll get caught up into her snares and traps. You'll get caught up into her bad behavior. So I hope to be edifying. Shalom.